We now come to verse 50. As we saw in the previous commentaries, there is a shift from the 50th verse. So with the 49th verse, one section was closed, which may be called the pure aspect of the teaching. And from the 50th on, we step into the applied aspect. About the 50th verse, we can comment, "When I became aware of the world said, I am you." Verse 50. The ground together with water, wind, fire, and sky, the functioning ego, right knowledge and the mind, waves and ocean, what else is there? All these worlds having arisen are changing into knowledge. Commentary. The first reference in this verse is to the firm earth, where we sit, walk, work, and where we retire and sleep when we are tired. It is our ground. In fact, it is called terra firma, the firm ground. The Malayalam word Narayana Guru uses is nila, meaning firmness, solidity, existence. When you say it has a nila, it has an existence. The Guru could have used another word for earth, but he specially chose this simple one. It is that which you experience under your feet as your very base. We begin here with something firm and also the very basis of everything, the ground. Jesus says that you do not build your house on the sand, but on a firm rock. Nila has the same implication. The Guru then moves on to something with a different quality, water. He has chosen the word neer, meaning water in its functional sense, when it rains and makes pattering sounds on your roof, when it makes puddles, when it flows, when you turn on the tap, water gushes out. You can see it as a big river and as a gigantic shoreless ocean. These are experiences which are very different from the firm ground. It is pliant, ever-changing. When we breathe, it is so gentle and subtle an action that we hardly notice that we are passing air in and out. When a little stir is caused in the air, it becomes an enjoyable breeze. It comes and tickles the leaves and flowers, and plays with the shrubs and trees in the garden. When it becomes a little stronger, we call it the wind. With greater intensity, it can become a whirlwind and grow even more violent as a hurricane. Such is another experience, different from earth and water, the blowing wind. If you take a match and strike it against the matchbox or the ground, it bursts into flame. Fire is our great friend. We cannot even live without it. It dwells within us, keeps our bodies warm. It fills the hearth, the fireplace, the stove, our lamps and lights. It is in the clouds as electricity. It blazes forth as the sun in the sky. Even the far-off stars are nothing but fire. This is yet another experience. If you fling wide your doors and come out, you are in the open. For this, Narayana Guru specially chose the word veli, meaning the open. When you go out into the open and look, there is no end to it. You can see the far distant horizon. The whole world is out in the open. To come out, you don't even have to get up from your bed and leave the room. All you have to do is open your eyes, and you see the whole outside. What is not inside is outside, and it is paradoxically true that everything outside is inside. Who has these experiences? The Guru says, Aham Kriti. There is an I-generating event taking place. It goes on generating I. the I-generating thing, is experiencing all this. It is just like when you light a lamp. The lamp not only shows itself, along with the light comes a world which is illuminated by it. Like that, when this I is generated, it does not stand by itself. It shines its light on everything and illumines it. In fact, once the light is turned on, you almost immediately forget about it. Who has all these experiences? The Guru says, Aham Kriti. There is an I-generating event taking place. It goes on generating I. The I-generating thing is experiencing all this. It is just like when you light a lamp. The lamp not only shows itself, along with the light comes a world which is illuminated by it. Like that, when this I is generated, it does not stand by itself. It shines its light on everything and illumines it. In fact, once the light is turned on, you almost immediately forget about it. What is illuminated becomes more important than the source of illumination. Similarly, as soon as the I is generated, it becomes interested in whatever it sees and focuses on it. This is knowledge, vidya. Nataraj Guru calls it cognition. The cognizer cognizes and has a cognition. And who cognizes? I. Who am I? That which cognizes. How do I know I? By putting together whatever is known to I. Thus I, me, my, and mine are being generated endlessly inside us. When we look at it, we don't see any special I in it, only whatever is being cognized. If you put all this into one big circle, it becomes the greatest fiction we could ever think of. It is called the mind. What is mind? A fiction that is uniting all the facts. All the facts are held together by a fiction called mind. Can you see this mind anywhere? It is just like going to look for the ocean. You go and look for it, but it is completely cluttered with waves. There is not even a little space left where there are no waves, so you can see the actual ocean. But you can send a frogman into it. He will dive deep and say, "Hey, there are no waves here. The vast ocean is underneath them." Philosophers and psychologists are commissioned as our frogmen to dive deep into the fiction called mind. Then they all come and tell us, it has a depth. It has more than what you see here as your thoughts, your perceptions and conceptions, your ideas, feelings and emotions. These are only surface things, waves and ripples on the surface. We have gone deeply into it. We have found it very deep and unconscious. They are our frogmen. We believe them when they tell us there is a depth. So, what have we come to ultimately? The firm ground, the water that flows, our experience of firmness and of movement, fluidity, viscosity, of warmth and wind, of the openness of the universe. All these have now become like waves. In Narayana Guru's prayer, Deva Dashakam, he says, "Let us come to know this equation, that you are like these waves, and your phenomenal power is like the wind that causes the waves. The depth of the ocean is unfathomable. Even so, let us see your glory that is unfathomable." Thus everything becomes one unfathomable glory. When we ponder over all our experiences, ranging from the most firm, solid ground to this ideation of a me here or an I there, with all its qualities, everything rises to one single experience of knowledge. That's the gist of this verse. We meditate on this for our onward march. We have come to a turning point in Narayana Guru's instruction. In the last 49 verses, the Guru was speaking to us more or less from a transactional point of view. Of course, we were given an idea of what we are besides this body. He also saw us as part of a society in which there are other individual members just like us. There are various kinds of relationships existing between people. There is this world, the society, and the individual. All these were taken into full consideration. He worked out a system by which we first can find peace with our environment, with the social setup, and peace on earth and goodwill among people. These are the first requirements. Now we are going to have a more serious entry into our own real being. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, after the initial discipline is given, he asks you to cultivate a posture where you can sit peacefully and comfortably, to make yourself stable for your practice. He did not say you should sit in a Padmasana or Mayurasana or anything. Those were all invented by others. They may be good as exercises, but they don't specially aid your pursuit. All Patanjali wanted was a firm, steady posture, so that you can forget about your body. Likewise, in 49 verses, Narayana Guru has prepared us to sit in peace so that now we can commence our search. We no longer have any quarrel with our neighbor. Let our neighbor be a Jehovah's Witness or a Hare Krishna. Who cares? We have no quarrel with them. In fact, we agree with them. If the Jehovah's Witness comes and asks, "Do you accept the only God, the true God?" you say, "Oh yes, we have no quarrel with you." If the Hare Krishna person comes and demands, "Don't you agree that the only God is Krishna? O Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna," we have no quarrel. Now we can just sit very quietly. What next? What comes next is very important. We commence the real probe. You are sitting here firmly. Close your eyes. What is that firmness underneath that you experience? It becomes very strange as soon as you try to look at it. You take the firmness of the ground for granted, but when you isolate it as an experience and try to understand it, it becomes quite vague. Just what is that firmness? You can borrow cliches from the scientists and say, it is a gravitational pull you are experiencing. But with equal plausibility, you could say that in the middle of the earth is a great green demon that is pulling you down with invisible claws. If you were to make a tunnel to the center of the earth, you could see he is a very big, monstrous green demon. Who really knows? It may be the demon, or it may be the force of gravity. But for us, it is merely a strange experience. All you are sure of is your own knowledge. You know that there is a firmness. The firmness is your knowledge. Can you draw a line between the knowledge of the firmness and the one who is experiencing firmness? Can you say, up to this point is the knower of firmness, and from here on firmness itself begins? Not really. This is why I said that all the facts are put together by a fiction. They are all held together by what's called mind. It is true, though, that you do experience a quality called firmness. When you turn on the faucet and water flows out of it, You know that this is very different from the solid spout of the pipe which just sits there and never moves. The water is flowing, and if you are not careful, your cup or your sink will overflow. This is quite a different experience from firmness. Yet with all the difference, is it any different from your knowledge of the flow? Just what is this thing called flow, anyway? In our everyday experience, all these things look very clear-cut, very definite. In winter, we know it is cold outside, and we should sit as close as possible to the fire. Its warmth gives us a very good feeling. In the spring, we don't like the wind blowing. We keep the house closed up tight. When we go out, it blows hard. We all know that experience, but what is it really? When we meditate on it, when we ponder over any aspect of our experience, we see that we have only one whole instrument, our knowledge. Arbitrarily, we trifurcate that knowledge into the knower, the known, and knowledge. We have been asked to deal with the other person. When you say I and the other person says I, you can see that the I in the other person and the I in you are not two. Now we are asked to go still further. Not only the I in you and the other person, but everything that constitutes the awareness centered around an I is none other than consciousness. Somebody says you are very good and you are pleased. Somebody says, I know you are an idiot, and you are suddenly very angry. Did anything happen? Nothing happened. Why are you so angry? That's my nature. And what is your nature? When my knowledge changes, I change. I was under the impression that I was a good guy. But now you say I'm bad. Now I'm meditating on badness. It makes me feel very negative. Can you not remain as free as before? No, I cannot, because I don't stop at this one. As soon as you say something else, it becomes part of me too. Why? Because you are part of my knowledge, and I identify with that knowledge. Is there no way out? Oh yes, certainly. That is to know that if you say I am bad and I think I am good, it is all only knowledge. And because it is only knowledge, I can straighten it up even if you mess with it. All I have to do is remember it is knowledge and not get carried away by it. The central pivot of all this is called Ahamkriti, the I-generating rascal, who is sitting in the midst of it all. This is a tremendous problem. You don't know the nature of this machine that goes on clicking one eye after another, like drops from a leaky faucet, the consciousness of I. Let me share a secret with you. The Guru began with terra firma, something very firm and solid. Then he watered it down. He poured water into the firm ground to make it more flexible. So I say, you stupid fools, water down your I a little. Why should you keep it so rigid? Why should your I be so solid that you hold on to it as the dearest thing in existence? Let it go. What a great relief it can bring. You have no idea. So water down your ego a little. Then the Guru said, let it blow in the wind. First it was firm ground, nila, existence. Second, let it flow. Then he said, let it fly in the wind. Where is the answer? It is blowing in the wind. Then ultimately burn it, bring fire upon it. There is nothing more beautiful than this meditation. You have to do it every time this horrid I comes and sits. Pour water on it. diluted. This going around asking, what did so-and-so say about me? What does he think? Is it so important? It is all important to me. What is this me? It's completely fictitious. If you can learn this much, you don't need psychiatrists. You don't need mental hospitals. You don't need any of that stuff. It will bring you great peace by itself. It's not that there shouldn't be a lovely device called an I as the central orientation point of your world. That's very good. But it should only be for that one purpose of orientation and nothing else. You don't really need other people's opinions in order to know how to feel. So don't make your I your pet baby you're always fawning over. You make it your lap dog. You have to pet it all the time. Taking it around for walks and asking your neighbor, "How do you like my dog?" You feel very happy if somebody says, "Beautiful," but you are upset if they say, "I have seen better dogs than that." My friends, there is nothing more beautiful than this freedom of which I am speaking. Try to experience it. The whole day can be so wonderful. Whenever someone is making you turn and churn inside, causing a knot within you, remember it is time to add water and make things flexible once again. The world is so stupid. Someone or other may breathe poison into your ear, cast it into the wind or onto the fire. Do not take it seriously. Know that it is all happening where the generating of the I is going on. This is the only place where real darkness prevails. Moreover, it is without our knowledge that the I is being generated and passed on to us. We have no idea what tricky hand is doing it. Narayana Guru could very well have said ego in this verse, but he did not. He did not say just I. He said aham kriti. Kr means to do. Krit means one who does. Kriti is the doer. So aham kriti is the doer of the I doing fellow. Karl Jaspers says that you cannot study philosophy. You cannot think of philosophy. You can only philosophize. Like that, you are always eyeing. What do you eye? You eye this knowledge. Cognition has the same meaning. It is from cognition that Descartes derived the basis of his philosophy. He concluded, "I think, therefore I am." We have to go beyond that. Can you not say, if the thinking is me, then I am not. It is only the thought. Buddha came to the same conclusion. He said, if you take an experience such as a toothache, we grant that there is a tooth. We grant that the tooth has nerves. We grant that those nerves are rotten. We accept that the rotten nerves are agitating and that agitation is painful. But when you say it is my pain, where did that my come from? Buddha says, I do not see any place for that. I agree with everything else. Only the thought content is there. Why should that thought content be an I? When you tune yourself to this inner mechanism in your meditation, you get a whole new freedom. The freedom not to be agitated. The freedom to enjoy or not enjoy. The freedom to relate or not relate. From the most gross, you can slip away to the most sublime, the most subtle. If you want, you can go back to the terra firma and experience its solidness. When you open the window and the papers flutter, it is helpful to put a heavy weight on them. Like that, you have come to the most gross and found a use for it. In the world of uses, everything has its place. But don't get glued onto anything. Move freely within this whole realm of earth and water and fire. In Nataraja Guru's commentary, he placed the 5 elements and the 3 principles of I, knowledge and the mind, in a circle on one side. Then he took the ocean and waves as the other, outer side, to show we are not only thinking of the subjective world, but also of the objective one. In my translation and commentary, however, I relate the ocean and its waves to the first group of 8 items as an analogy to decipher them. Both Husserl and Jaspers speak of deciphering, and I agree with their idea. First, we have all the ciphers, and we use the analogy of the ocean and the waves to decipher them. You cannot get rid of all the waves and just have a pure ocean. That is what everybody is trying to do. Sit firm and close the eyes so that you get rid of all thoughts and ideas, and then finally you are left with the pure ocean of the self. Narayana Guru says this is like someone taking a cake of soap to the wash tub and trying to wash all the lather out of it. No matter how much you wash, it cannot be done. The more water you pour and the more you rub, the more the lather comes. Trying to get rid of all the thoughts and ideas in the mind in order to come to pure consciousness is like that. It is in and through all this that you have to see pure consciousness. It is not that you kill everyone in the world and then find peace. Let your good neighbors be there. Their dog may bark, but you can still be peaceful. See how it works for you today. And the free translation of verse 50 is as follows. The impressions of earth, water, fire, wind, sky, the ego sense, knowledge, mind, and of all aspects of the one and the many, such as waves and the ocean, on entering into consciousness, these transform into knowledge as they rise into the hierarchic series of states of awareness.